So again, welcome everyone. I wasn't sure who might join me in such short notice. I know I just put out this offer a couple days ago to come be together and explore some of the flavors and textures of what I'm calling intimate ground. It's a series coming up. We're going to have a kind of a soft start next week. Um, but today is really just an opportunity to give you a taste of what I'm pointing to. And I think many of you who've been with me before know that my emphasis is on an experience, not so much conceptual frame, although there'll be a little bit of that, but to really give everyone more of a direct experience of what this work is inviting us into. So, for those of you I haven't met before, my name's Ajaya Summers, and I'm so happy that you're choosing to be here. It's really an honor and a pleasure to get to share and co-create a field of coherence and connection and deeper intimacy with ourselves. So, what I'd like to do to begin is just take us through a short meditation to support everyone to drop in and just find that place of receptivity and availability to explore some of the contours of our being. And then I'll go into a little bit of some context of what this is about. And then I'll take us into a deeper sort of dive or experience, somatic experience. So to begin, let's just start by literally just taking our seat, just feeling ourselves in our seat, making yourself comfortable in any way that you can. And I encourage you for this part to actually sit up, to find those two sit bones, those two little pointy sit bones, and maybe just wiggle in your chair a little bit to find them. And you notice that when you find those 2 points, there's actually room for the pelvis to rest more fully in your seat and for the spine to grow tall out of that space. So I invite you to literally kind of plug in those sit bones into your seat, into the ground beneath you. And then just take a deep breath and allow the spine to elongate, to extend all the way up through the crown of the head. You can close the eyes if you like, and just start to relax into yourself. Just feeling the breath rising up, welcoming you. And as you exhale, an invitation to just settle, to release any excess tension in the system. And as you breathe in, an invitation to brighten, to bring in more prana, more oxygen, more life force into your body. And as you exhale, an invitation to release any stagnant energy, release any excess gripping or holding. And just as we arrive, this simple orientation to softening into gravity, permission to let your weight start to drop down into your pelvis, into your seat. And just noticing the ground beneath you. There's a holding ground supporting your chair right now, supporting the weight of your body. See if you can let down into that sense of support. And feeling the long bones of the legs extending, the palms of the feet open, and just letting yourself really slow down and connect the whole lower body and this sensation of meeting the ground. And again, just nothing forced or performative, just starting to Just be with the living breath that's naturally breathing, rising up, filling your body from below, filling into your belly, your pelvis, your lungs, and just a gentle willingness to settle, to release, to soften down. Maybe on your exhale, just allowing like a sigh, an audible exhale, just letting that be another way to support your system to let go, to settle down. If it feels good to you, just a gentle sigh as you exhale. And another way that we can participate in just this simple arriving, grounding, is to start to bring in our own touch. So if it feels good to you, comfortable, if you feel like exploring this, just letting the hands rest somewhere on top of the thighs or around the belly. Just find some good, comfortable fit where the hands can rest on your body. And just letting in the sensation of your own touch. Maybe feeling some warmth through your touch or some coolness, just noticing the temperature. And just feeling your body receiving your hands. And also feeling your touch, your body receiving your hands, and also your hands receiving your body. And taking a moment just to let your attention and your breath be with this place of contact between your hands and your body. So in this way, we start to sense the ground beneath us, the sense of being held by something larger, this holding ground of nature, the space below you and all around you. And also a sense of being held by our own touch, our own presence, our own warmth. So maybe just gently acknowledging, I'm here. Feeling yourself here in your touch, in your seat. I am here. And as we acknowledge that we're here, let's just continue to let the background thinking mind, the background of whatever busyness has held us earlier today, and just that way that the nervous system is settling and often oriented to just to what was. See if you can let that all be more background. And the sensation of your touch here in your body, breath moving, the ground beneath you, just the simplicity of these points of contact becoming more foreground. Even just letting the various sensations of the body, just letting it all be here. And so for now, there's nothing you have to do, nothing you have to improve, nothing you have to become. Just an invitation to relax, to settle. And so we just gently start to notice a kind of stillness or quiet, a space inside that's actually always here. A space of our own being, our own presence, the awareness that's always aware. We can feel it hearing through our ears right now. We can feel it looking through our eyes, even with our eyes closed. We can feel it through this meeting of the touch of your own hands on your body. This space of awareness that is always here. So in your own way, just taking a breath into that. A welcoming of this intimate friend, this intimate presence that's always here. It's always holding space for your human experience. So just gently in your own way, see how you might relax into it a little bit more, soften into it a little bit more. The space you might locate somewhere around the heart, dropping down into the belly, somewhere around the core of the body. The space that when we're happy, it lights up. Space where when we're sad, sometimes it feels heavy. Or if we're angry or afraid, it might feel fiery or tight. It's very responsive space inside the body that feels. For right now, just taking a breath and a moment to allow whatever's present for you in this inner space. Just a moment of meeting in the privacy of that immediacy of intimacy inside yourself. Welcoming yourself here, whatever's here. And see if you can pause or, for now, just table the parts of the psyche that might want to interpret or label or judge or critique your experience. Go into a narrative or a story. See if right now you can just, with curiosity, explore openly, just receiving freshly. More on the level of a kind of warmth or aliveness. Perhaps even just feeling the beating of your heart, the warmth in the chest, the sensations that actually let you know you're alive. And if it feels helpful, just bringing a hand to the heart. Maybe bringing the other hand to your belly so we can really locate this space I'm pointing to. Feeling the breath here, perhaps feeling the heartbeat, some sense of warmth, of aliveness. Perhaps even just a taste of the mystery, this mysterious quality of light or ineffable presence that is the animating force that beats your heart, that breathes your lungs. Referred in so many traditions to the I am or the self, the indwelling spirit. The presence of being. This place we've all had moments of being completely in the rapture, in the oneness, the dissolve of completely relaxed into this space where we felt no separation between ourselves and another, between ourselves and life itself. So just taking a moment to freshly remember or recognize this capacity your heart has, your inner being has, to open and to meet a larger sense of reality. Maybe just bringing a slight smile to your face, to your lips, to your eyes, as you let yourself touch in with that. Moments of recognition, opening, remembrance, great pleasure, joy, where that separation between you, the divine, perhaps moments in nature, moments making love to your beloved, moments in dance or something that took you into some kind of ecstasy where you just felt completely alive and one with God, with life, with beauty. Just gently, softly presencing this with a smile, with a gratitude for this capacity of our heart's nature to open to something greater than being a separate self. And just taking a breath into this space, letting it expand a little bit more, brighten a little bit more, open a little bit more. And before we close this opening meditation, let's just invite in a gentle sound as we continue to just touch our bellies and our hearts. Let's just bring in the sound Ma Om. It's the sound of, in a way, the great mother and the great father, the energy of Shiva and Shakti. These are sounds of primordial creation, the energies that literally bring us into form. So we'll just gently feel the sound vibration through our touch. It's more of an internal vibration than an external sound. And we'll bring in this Ma Om as a way of deepening in what I just spoke to, really feeling the preciousness, the tenderness, letting yourself be touched by this capacity you have inside to open, to receive yourself. So Ma Om sounds something like this. Ma Om. Ma Om. So feeling that and ah, ma, ma, very much the sound of the heart, and then the om, ma om, ma om, ma om. Just enjoying any sensations of warmth, of pleasure, of openness in the chest and the heart and the belly. We'll just take a few more moments enjoying this Ma Om, just exploring, no good, bad, right, wrong of it, just exploring gently. Ma Om. Ma Om. Ma Om. And then when you're ready, we'll just let the sound come to a pause. But I encourage you just to stay breathing and receiving the ripples from the sound, receiving any sensations of pleasure, openness, warmth, spaciousness, aliveness. If there's anything in your experience right now that feels good, that you'd like to expand, then just breathe into it. Breathe into any new sensations inside that feel good, that feel safe, that feel pleasurable. Just giving them some breath to expand. And if this is opening up pathways in the body, little gentle pathways that might want to reorganize or unwind, just allowing the body some gentle movement if that's happening for you, or if you're just enjoying a deeper felt sense of stillness, we're just going to take a couple more moments just receiving with a kind of open attention whatever feels good and organic for you. And then let's just bring the hands together and just rubbing them together, generating a little heat. And let's just bring some touch to the body wherever it would feel good. Just some little squeezes, little massages. Thanking yourself for being here. Thanking this beautiful body. Again, any little gentle stretches or movement. And as you're ready, we can just start to allow a soft gaze and just take a moment just to look around your space, locating yourself here in your room, wherever you are. And then just coming back to this gathering, to this group. Thank you again so much for being here. Hopefully we're all feeling a little more here in a substantive way, here in this body, in this moment. I'd love to continue to just open this up by reading one of my favorite pieces from Mark Nepo that I think does a good job in terms of creating some larger context of what I'd like to invite us to explore together. So this is called Unlearning Our Way Back to God. Maybe some of you have heard this. He says, each person is born with an unencumbered spot, free of expectation and regret, free of ambition and embarrassment, free of fear and worry, an umbilical spot of grace where we were each first touched by God. It is this spot of grace that issues peace. Psychologists call this spot the psyche. Theologians call it the soul. Jung calls it the seat of the unconscious. Hindu masters call it Atman. Buddhists call it Dharma. Rilke calls it inwardness. Sufis call it Qualb. And Jesus calls it the center of our love. To know this spot of inwardness is to know who we are, not by surface markers of identity, not by where we work or what we wear or how we like to be addressed, but by feeling our place in relation to the infinite and by inhabiting it. This is a hard and lifelong task, for the nature of becoming is a constant filming over of where we begin, while the nature of being is a constant erosion of what is not essential. Each of us lives in the midst of this ongoing tension, growing tarnished or covered over, only to be worn back to that incorruptible spot of grace at our core. When the film is warmed through, we have moments of enlightenment, moments of wholeness, moments of satori, as the Zen masters term it, moments of clear living when inner meets outer, moments of full integrity, moments of complete oneness. And whether the film is a veil of culture, of memory, of mental or religious training, of trauma or sophistication, the removal of that film and the restoration of that timeless spot of grace is the goal of all therapy and education. Regardless of subject matter, this is the only thing worth teaching, how to uncover that original center and how to live there once it is restored. We call the filming over a deadening of heart, and the process of return, whether brought about through suffering or love, is how we unlearn our way back to God. Does that resonate? Can we relate to what Mark Nepo is pointing to? Yes. Did you all have a little taste or glimpse or reunion just now in what I was guiding us into freshly today, of just the simplicity of feeling the warmth of our own presence here in the body, in the heart, in the belly? Did you all have some taste of that? Some rekindling of how we feel at home We feel at home when we touch in with this quality of presence in ourselves. We have a sense of belonging. And I just want to speak to, I think part of what I see many of us sort of challenged by right now in the intensity of our world mirror, to whatever degree we're taking it in, we feel it, we feel a sort of distortion field that doesn't feel like home, that doesn't feel like love, that doesn't feel like safety and something we want to belong to. And, many of us may be creating in our families and our homes with our loved ones and our communities containers where we do belong, and we do create relative levels of resonance, right? Are you all doing that in various ways? I think it's really what we can do, because we can't control life. We can't control the larger field of the world. I'm sure you've all noticed that. But we can participate in creating for ourselves relative levels of coherence, of what feels safe to us, what feels resonant to us. We can do that with each other and with ourselves. So what I want to invite us to consider, and what this term I've coined, intimate ground, is really about, is that, in working with people over almost 30 years now, and being human and having my own human experience, what I notice is that there can be ways that we habitually struggle with particular subject matter, whether it's health issues, whether it's relational issues, whether it's ways that we struggle with our own mind, our own thoughts, our own perceptions, ways that we struggle with our emotions, maybe ways that we struggle with our self-sense, how we perceive ourselves, how we judge ourselves, how we hold our own self-worth. Maybe ways that we struggle just feeling like able to relax in our own bodies. Maybe ways we struggle with our nervous system and experience a kind of ongoing tension or incapacity to rest, to sleep well, to let the nervous system, down-regulate. Maybe we struggle with ways that we're just chronically busy and outside of ourselves in the doer of life, in the doing of life. I think we all have, and we all know at this point, kind of what those subjects are, those areas that no matter how much quote work we've done, no matter how much we may have had periods of time where we've had some kind of relief, those familiar subjects keep returning. Anybody relate to what I'm speaking of? And so what's become interesting to me is not so much what we struggle with, the content of it, but it's how can we learn how to participate in a way where we can discover how to actually meet our struggle in such a way that it can begin to unwind. And what I notice in having my hands on people and feeling the way these struggles live in people's bodies and tissues and nervous systems is that what the body has shown me is that often these places where we struggle, they have a kind of density to them, an armoring to them, a way that over and over again we've traced those neural networks. And so we've sort of concretized an identity, an identification with the struggle as this is who I am on some level. There's me. There's moments like maybe we all just had where we touch in with a quality of spaciousness or openness where there's no struggle. And then there's me going back into my habitual way of moving in my life where I'm either moving towards this struggle, or I'm moving against it, or I'm moving away from it. These are sort of the three ways the ego tends to move, right? I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get at it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to solve it. I'm going to move into it. Or I'm going to move away. I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to disassociate. I'm going to check out, right? Or I'm going to move against it. I'm going to make it wrong, and I'm going to take out the pickaxe and the hammer and the nail, and right. So those activities of the ego over time tend to concretize and create a kind of a density or an armoring, a compression that we experience in our systems as a quality of tension, and ultimately an experience of feeling separate. So what I want to speak to is, this is kind of like cracking the code on this thing that we do as human beings. We tend to create a kind of subject-object dichotomy. I am the subject, and this thing I struggle with is my subject. Yeah? And inside of that dichotomy, I'm inherently separate. I'm separate from myself. I'm separate from life. I'm separate from the space where healing and transformation actually occurs. And I think all of us, really deep down, it's this place that we suffer. Because in our hearts, we know that we're not separate. And I think many of us long to feel that, to experience that in a more consistent way. So again, circling back to what I'm calling intimate ground and the practices that we're going to be exploring in this series is really me looking at how I've been working with people privately and in groups for some time, and having insight into, in a sense, what are the qualities that we need to grow? What are the capacities we need to grow to dissolve that whole struggle construct, so that we can start to live more spontaneously in our day-to-day, moment-to-moment experience with a quality of intimacy and fluidity and connection. And what I found in my own experience is this has become more and more where I live, and the field that I'm more and more just inside of. It's not really something I have to effort or work at. It's more the spontaneous ground of my being. And so I wanted to kind of break this down into steps, into very tangible, digestible ways that we can explore and embody more of what I'm speaking of. So I think for today, what I would love to take us into as just kind of a starting point is how we can begin to create an inner climate. Again, we're not in control very much of our outer environment, the outer climate. We're not in control of the weather. We're not in control of the politics. We're not in control of the what other people might be doing or not doing. But we can participate directly with our own inner climate, our own inner environment, how we touch our experience, how we meet ourselves, how we can start to provide a climate of what I call eros. It's a space where we can cultivate a kind of pleasurable warmth, a loving kindness, a felt sense of safe enough inside of me for now. That my system, my nervous system, the part of me that's always on guard, ready to protect, ready to defend or shut down, can start to feel like, oh, this host, this self, this presence of being that's animating this system is actually generating consciously more of a field of safety, of warmth, of love, that the nervous system can then start to feel safe, to not be running in those more habitual ways of reacting. So I think one of the things that's a little bit unique and unusual about what I bring to working with the nervous system and bringing in the presence of being, so kind of where awareness work, where the path of awakening to self meets kind of psychobiology, somatic work, nervous system regulation. This is really the intersection of what I bring, that I find very kind. You know, if maybe for some of you, you've been more about the path of awakening, and maybe for others of you, you've been more about, nervous system regulation and psychological work. I think we come to a point where we really have to bring them together. And what's, I think, a little bit unique and unusual about my particular background is a body of work called Continuum, where we recognize that this density, this armoring I just spoke of, that gets concretized as identity that separates us, we can actually bring our own touch and the frequency signature of our own sound that carries the tone of the self. We can bring that from inside to meet our own touch and bring our awareness, our attentional awareness. And inside of that space, these ingredients, we can start to alchemize and start to soften and dissolve the density, however that might be manifesting as pain in the body, as constriction in the body, some kind of nervous system agitation, whatever it is, like I said earlier, that we struggle with. We can literally bring our own hands, our own awareness, our own sound to come underneath and start to hold these places. So now these places have a holding ground, they have a warmth, they have company. And for many people, this practice is very pleasurable. We start to ignite more of our own inner oxytocin. It's a hormone that gets released when we feel safe and we feel love. And we start to connect with a kind of self-regulatory system that we often feel more immediately in the co-regulatory space with another, right? Where that beautiful feeling of oxytocin, safety, love gets ignited. Well, we can ignite that with ourselves. So I've found over time that working in this way is more powerful and more effective than just guiding people to explore with awareness alone, when we utilize our touch and our sound. And eventually, as people really cultivate more of capacity with this practice, we bring in movement, various ways that the body just starts to free itself and move more like we moved as little children, as babies, where we just become more organic and exploratory and curious. Where that movement is pleasure moving through the system, aliveness moving through the system, freeing itself from these more denser constrictive patterns. So I'd love to just take us into an exercise where we can, one, slow down, start to feel what I'm talking about, and have an experience of what I'm speaking of. Does that sound like something you're open to? Okay. Any questions before I take us into an experience? All right. So let's take a moment and let your right hand, just bring that in front of your visual space so you can see your right hand, and just take a moment to take in your right hand. And if you can, let it rest if you have a table in front of you, or let it rest in the palm of your left hand. So you're not having to hold it up. So you can really let the weight of this arm be held. And just behold your hand, take it in, check it out, appreciate its shape, its color, its various textures, the light touching your hand. Just come into a moment of intimacy, of connecting with your hand, maybe feeling some gratitude for all this right hand does for you. We take for granted, what our hands do for us every day. So just taking a moment to appreciate this hand. And then slowly, gently, very slowly, just start to take the hand and feel your way into making a contact somewhere around the right side of the face. So let the full palm, the full fingers of this hand find a good fit. And again, if you need to lean a little bit into the hand, maybe resting on a table or resting on your other arm or your leg, we want to let the weight of the head just start to rest into this hand. And closing the eyes and just starting to already bring attention to feel this meeting place where your cheek is receiving the touch of your hand, feeling that. And then take a moment and just press in with your hand and let your hand feel the sensation of your cheek. Just going back and forth for a moment, the face receiving the hand, and the hand receiving the face. All of your attention absorbed in this contact. See if you can let your attentional awareness be completely here in your touch. Taking a nice deep breath into your hand, touching your face. And then we're just going to bring in a nice vibratory sound. And again, allowing the sound from inside to meet your touch. We're going to bring in a kind of a puffy O sound. So just bringing some air into your mouth, into your cheeks. And then slowly pursing the lips and letting the sound come out, something like this. Oh. So taking a deep breath in, filling up the mouth, kind of puffing up the cheeks, and then pursing the lips and gently letting that puffy O sound move through. Oh. And a couple more times, nice deep breaths. Oh. Oh. Allowing the mind to be completely absorbed in the receiving of your touch, your sound, the sensations. Oh. And then just slowly letting the sound come to a pause. You can let the hand relax now. And just taking a moment to stay with your experience, just a kind of open attention, eyes closed, just noticing the difference between that right side of your body, noticing any new sensations of warmth, pleasure, openness, extending from the face, down the neck, through the right side. And perhaps just sensing how the left side of the face, the body, feels substantively different than the right side. Perhaps you can feel a kind of an aftermath on the right side of some qualities of softening and some sense of almost like hydration or wetness or fluidity, warmth, relaxation, openness, just being with any new sensations you can feel on that right side of the face, perhaps down the neck, even all the way down the arm into the hand. And just letting the breath expand into any of these new areas that feel good, that feel pleasurable, feel connecting. Inviting more space, more openness into your system. Just with this little bit of an opening, inviting more space through your breath. And in this way, we're discovering right now how to stay with the subtleties of sensation. Exploring a discovery of staying with the subtleties of sensation. And so I just want to ask you all just to come back for a moment and just ask you, did you notice? Did everyone notice some effect, right, from having the hand here on the right side and bringing this sound? Did you notice as we sat in open attention that the right and left side felt quite different just from that little bit of bringing our touch and our sound? Could everyone feel something there? Yeah. So do you feel that the left side might enjoy having some contact after that? We want to balance out our right and left. So let's again take this left hand, and when we have another opportunity now to come into an intimate relating with this hand. So let's just first take a moment to gaze and with our eyes, just receiving this hand. Maybe you've never really consciously looked at your hand in this way, really appreciating, again, the subtleties of how it looks and feels and all it does for you. Thank you, my beautiful hand. And then just gently, very slowly, taking that hand to find a nice comfortable fit to the left side of the face. Again, letting the arm be supported. Bringing the full fingers, full palm, just kind of leaning that left side of the face into the hand, letting that arm be supported. Closing the eyes, and again, just feeling the hand touching the face. So you might press in a little bit, feeling the hand touching in with the face. And then softening your touch and feeling your cheek receiving your touch. So we have this kind of double current of perceptual awareness that goes back and forth, receiving and giving. So just take a moment to sense into this meeting place of both receiving your touch and giving your touch. And already starting to sink in to the side of the face, feeling held, receiving the temperature of your hand, a feeling of support, of holding. And then we'll just start to bring in that puffy O sound again for a few rounds. Deep breath in. Just allowing your thinking mind to become totally absorbed in feeling right now, the feeling of your touch, your sound from inside the body, letting your attentional awareness be absorbed inside this contact. And one more time, just fully being all in your sound, your touch. A nice deep breath in and letting the sound come to a pause, and we can gently, gently let that hand come off the body. And then just staying for a moment to again receive in a kind of open attention, just the simplicity of the sensations of warmth, perhaps some openness, some pleasurable sensations, maybe more space in the system, maybe some tingling, maybe noticing an overall sense of more calm in the body, perhaps feeling yourself a little more rooted, a little more grounded in your seat and in the space beneath you. Perhaps noticing a little more ground and at the same time a little more levity or spaciousness or openness. So just taking a moment to again take some nice deep breaths into any new places that are opening up inside. Give them breath, give them awareness. Anything that's feeling good and pleasurable, just give it some breath to expand, to open in your experience. And give yourself the gift, the luxury of just staying right here in the direct and immediate intimacy of more of the subtleties of feeling, the nuances of just being here. Letting your system do whatever it needs to do, perhaps some subtle unwinding or releasing or reorganizing. And hopefully we've, just in this simple practice that's just been a few minutes, hopefully we've created a little bit more space just to feel ourselves. And in this way, I invite you all, almost like you're just taking a little deeper look inside the well of your being right now, taking a little deeper look, see, feel. And I invite you to just drop in this inquiry that at this stage, in this phase of your life, in the mystery of not knowing how much time you might have left in this body and this planet, none of us knows, right? But at this stage, in this phase of your life, as you drop into this well of your being, what really matters to you? You know, what do you really want with your heart's attention? Like, what do you want to give yourself to? With whatever time you have left, what's most important to you? What matters most to your heart? And just taking a moment to receive from this inner well, this inner space, this inner stillness. What do I want for myself, for my life? And see if it can start to reveal itself as a few words or a sentence. Let it clarify to you, just simply and clearly. Given the unknown nature for all of us of how much time we have left in this body in this lifetime. So, in this most intimate way, what do I want? What matters to me? And just again, letting that become clear. A sentence, a word. If you could take the meaning of this, the feeling of this, and just hold it in your palms, as if it could be a thing you could put on your altar or show your beloved, or something you could hold. Just feeling that for a moment. And then as you're ready, let's just start to come back to this space, just a nice soft gaze, and just continue to hold this clarity of what you want for yourself. And I'd love to just take the time, the rest of the time we have now, to just open up the space. And if anyone feels open to sharing, what came up, because this is really, in a way, the most intimate relationship we have. This one with our own hearts, this one with this mystery of our own incarnation, the uncertainty of how long we have here. And I think the clearer we are with this sort of primary core intention or prayer we have for our lives, for ourselves, the more that begins to become like the guiding force. It's the signal that we're holding, and it's what life starts to organize around. And what I notice is that as we get later in life, our 50s, our 60s, our 70s, our 80s, there's a way that the veils have become thinner. The ego has less capacity to be distracted, and starts to naturally become clarified around this more intimate transparency with our own hearts, our own souls, what really matters to us. And I think the more that we name that, and we do put that on the altar, the more we have a chance of feeling fulfilled, happy, joyful, at peace, no matter what is going on with all that we can't control in our world. We know that we're here being about what we're up to, right? We're being about it. So I'd love to just open up the space, and anyone who feels like they'd like to share what just came up. And we'll also have a space for just this little practice I took us through. If there was questions about it or something interesting that occurred for you, just a space to be together here with anything that's also coming up in what I'm bringing on the table here today. So if you'd like to speak, you can raise your real hand or you can raise your emoji hand. I just saw John, so go ahead, John.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. My mic is on. Yeah, it's really good to see you, Ajay.
Good to see you.
That's sweet work with you, and it's just wonderful to be back in your presence and
Hmm.
feel the field of that. It's something that's really up for me, as of even today, is a friend whose husband died recently, has reached out to me because my wife died a while ago. And I actually have this beautiful story of finding love after love and a unique ability to support her in her grief process and give her a feeling of hope. And like, I know when I lost Lisa, it was like my world felt like it had ended. I lost the love of my life, and I didn't know that it was possible to create love after love like that. And I'm like here to tell you,
Mm,
that's the medicine that we have to offer
mm,
her, and that kind
mm.
of hope. And so she actually has reached out uh, for that kind of medicine and support. And so even as of today, so that's just really up for us. We're talking about how to open space to really provide that support for the shock and grief. And this just happened recently.
Yeah, I'm aware of this
So,
particular loss. Yes.
so it's a beautiful opportunity to provide a very unique medicine for this pain.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm just a clearing space. And so it's like it just felt really good to get into really grounded, centered space to be just a clear channel of support for that.
Yes. Beautiful. I'm so glad that she reached out to you. And I think it's true. You do have this very unique, precious medicine to share with her. It really warms my heart, actually, just to feel that and that that's happening and that you're available and you're both available. And what a blessing.
Really beautiful to be here with you. And I love the medicine that you had to offer. So I'm just
Mm,
here to tell you that I'm very grateful for my time with you. It was transformative, and
mm.
you're still the same beautiful person.
I'm so glad you came, John and Marin. Thank you so much. Really good to see you both. Mm. Give my love to Namita if it occurs. And yeah. Mm. I saw David raise his hand. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. You hear me okay?
Yes. Hi, David.
Yeah, good. I'm not really in a private situation here, but so I'll just be brief. Um, right at the beginning, I had this huge coughing. It was huge. I wasn't coughing. The body was coughing. The body was releasing through the throat. And it was really intense. And yeah, I've done a lot of work, so a lot of my trauma has been in the throat area, strangulation at 2 months old.
Mm,
It's still an ongoing process, and so it's not something. It's just me showing up. It's just me showing up in this environment,
mm-hmm.
in this space.
Mm-hmm.
So there's safe. The space is safe,
Right.
and so and the body knows that, and it released, and it went on for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And then died down, relaxed. It was peace, stillness,
Mm,
peace.
mm-hmm.
But it's again natural. I didn't create that. It just happened. Yeah.
Yes.
And so just through being in this environment,
Mm,
I'm aware of that.
mm,
And it's just so I just wanted to expose that, just put
mm,
it out there of what a safe environment can naturally
mm-hmm.
allow
Mm-hmm.
the body to reveal, let go,
Mm-hmm.
whatever
Mm-hmm.
it needs to. So I'm just thanking you very much.
Mm.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you came today, David, and thank you so much for sharing about this experience. And it's so true. And here's an example that, yeah, the body knows how to let go and release and unwind when it feels safe.
Right.
I'm so glad you feel safe here.
Exactly.
What a privilege and honor to be a part of
Well, yeah,
this for you.
I've known you for a while now, and yeah. So anyway, I'm just thanking you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, Bayonne.
Find my audio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's Bayon.
Bayonne. I'm sorry. I
I know
look at the
everybody.
spelling. I look at the
It's okay.
spelling.
It takes at least 10 times, so I'm prepared.
I have a name like that too, so I
Yeah. And tell
understand.
me how you say yours.
Ajaya.
Ajaya. Okay.
It's Bayonne.
So what I wrote down, what I want for myself is to receive what's given in this moment and to let the past go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of provoked by this experience I had yesterday, which just felt really unusual for me. So I don't know if you know about, do you know about SAND,
Mm-hmm.
Science and Non-Do? So
Yep.
they had a seminar yesterday on AI. And so I went on it and I just cried throughout the whole time. And it wasn't so much the situation, it was about a grief for how I've seen, how I've experienced my life up until now. Like I've seen, it's like it's like I saw how I've participated through the eyes of trauma and through the eyes of limitation. And then for some reason in this experience, there was just receiving what this guy was saying, and picking up on his life and his excitement, even though it was a very dreary subject. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's talking about the dangers of uncontrolled management of AI and how it's just moving too fast.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then my mind goes back and wants to get all involved with the drama and how terrible it was. But at the moment I heard it, there was this just clarity about, how we don't know really how it's going to go. But he was brave enough to meet it, to just open his life and his passion to try to make things better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I don't have to do that around AI, right? But I can be open to this life, however it comes to me, externally or internally.
Mm-hmm. So say the statement again that came to you. Um,
Well, it was to receive what's given in this moment and to let go of past moments, let the past go.
mm. So just that right there, to receive what is given in this moment. What a beautiful, sincere kind of organizing fulcrum for your life. It's a kind of a koan, right? Like to receive what is given in this moment.
Yeah.
So notice, notice where you locate yourself to be available for that, right? It's like there's a kind of inner receptivity of your heart. I see smiling through your face right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
just feeling my gut, it's kind of clenched, but it's okay because I'm being with it.
mm-hmm.
It's like that's what the dance is at
It's
this
part of what's
moment.
here. It's part of what's here right now.
What's here.
Yes. Yes, it's all you need, It's just this landing in honesty with what's here. And then it just keeps opening and revealing more of what's here. And actually, in this same capacity, what's here actually starts to transform. So, how beautiful that you already have this capacity. You're just choosing it more fully.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yes. Anyone else feel to come on and share or questions? Steiner, hi.
Yeah, hi. Me too. I concur with John and appreciating this space, and also what he mentioned about loss or illness or death in family or with friends. And I have a brother-in-law who turned 72 today, who just got the word that he has serious cancer, and all they can do is extend his life. They can't heal him. So that's devastating news just received this week. And in the midst of that, I'm going the other way. You know, you mentioned in our nervous system, and I've found after some illness previously and also an accident last year while I was run down walking on green light in the pedestrian walk, um, that I've trained myself back. And today was pretty awesome milestone at age 66. I moved from 165 pounds in the bench a month ago to 200 pounds today. And I do the same number of reps no matter the weight. It's crazy. And I can't explain it other than that my inner work and my physics, they're combining. And I see this as reflecting clearly some inner alignment that helps the body to just handle these weights no problem. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm more mesmerized than having an insight. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. The body is
Well,
a
thank you.
miracle, it's a miracle. And when we bring conscious attention to anything we do, we can expand our capacities.
Yeah, and you mentioned, however long we're going to stay here, and with my today, having both the thought of my brother-in-law and my own physics going the other way, totally, it puts things in perspective,
That you
So,
can
yeah.
you can participate in your own health and well-being.
Yeah. So when you asked that, I thought 30 years, still,
Uh-huh.
yeah, whatever the truth is in that.
Well, thank you for being here and for sharing. And congratulations with the bench press. Yeah. I'll take one more. David, yes?
Yeah, I'm just curious, in your experience, because you had mentioned, working with people for almost 30 years, and you had talked about working with touch. And I'm just curious, your thoughts and experiences on the differences, both like probably positive and negative, in working strictly over Zoom versus working where you can actually like in a physical space. And even if it's a group, you can still like you get a different sense. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, being in person, we have a lot more that we are engaging in terms of the fields that we're sharing, and obviously being able to look in each other's eyes without a screen and to be able to touch each other. I mean, there's obviously a lot more nuanced levels of connection that occur in person. And I think that's generally what most people prefer, right? In terms of what feels nourishing and a connection. But I think what I've learned, working on Zoom for quite some time now, one of the benefits of it is that obviously we can be anywhere on the world, and that's precious that we can be on a whole globe and we can connect with people from everywhere. And we can have the benefit of being in our own homes and not having to get in cars or airplanes, right? And it's also taught me, I think it's honed my skills in being able to empath people, feel people, that sort of transcends the time space thing and the screen thing. And also, the practices that I share largely are about empowering people to be able to facilitate their own state shifts. to be able to shift their own inner environment. And so I think in that way, Zoom is actually very conducive because you're just here with yourself. And you have the support of the field, right? But this capacity to recognize that you can actually participate in that, as I said, that inner climate, that felt sense of safety and eros and love and openness. So my experience, again, working with groups and individuals over a long time, also on Zoom, is people can access these same spaces, almost like we're in a group room together in person. And I guess I just accept the limitations of it. And I try to do both in my life. I do work with people in person, and I also do this because they both have benefit.
And kind of the follow-up related question is, I know you have training in craniosacral and very like subtle rhythms. I'm curious if you have any ways that you can work with that over Zoom. Probably more with one-on-one versus groups, but I'm just curious your take on that. Kind of like subtle, and also I guess that also extends to subtle energies, but particularly the like subtle, those subtle respiratory and spinal currents,
Mhm.
movements, energies, whatever you want to call them, sensations. Yeah.
Thank you for this question. I didn't go into this today, but the body of work called Continuum, where we had a taste today, just bringing our hands and bringing some sound and creating more space in the system. Continuum actually facilitates the same state changes that cranial sacral work does. They are different languaging and slightly different maps and practices, but it takes you into the same territory. A lot of people who come to learn Continuum and are attracted to it are actually cranial people, osteopaths, biodynamic cranial people, and I was one of them. I was attracted to it because that was my experience, was that, whoa, I'm actually facilitating what feels like a cranial sacral session just with my own touch and sound and movement. So that for me, that discovery, I got really excited because it felt very empowering to be able to give someone a practice where they could facilitate those same shifts inside themselves. I didn't need another pair of hands. So, in some of my classes, we do bring in a lot more around the cranial sacral rhythm and some of that anatomy and some of that map and how you can start to sense some of those subtler rhythms. And I'm not sure. I have to look at this particular series coming up, call it Intimate Ground. I have to look at like what the appetite is in the room. If you're in the room, that's something we'll definitely open up. I'll just say that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for these questions. So I want to just honor everyone's time and kind of wrap this up in the next 5 minutes or so. Is there any questions specifically about this series? I don't know if any of you have actually seen the little write-up on it. I can actually put the link in the chat if you want to check it out. But we're having what I'm calling a soft starting this Tuesday. And then I'm going to kind of keep it open for another week in case there's more people who are interested, and we'll have a more official starting the next Tuesday. And all that means for the people who've already signed up is you kind of get a bonus session. But let me just put it in the chat in case any of you haven't seen it. Any questions though about what we're going to be up to? While I'm finding the link here. Okay. Okay, that's in the chat. Yeah, today's call was really for me coming out of an awareness that been teaching some classes lately online the last couple months, and again, just noticing kind of what's showing up in the field, that I started to just get inspired around really breaking down what I saw people missing, both in the spaces and also just in hearing people share about where they're struggling in their life. And so if you look at this, this URL, I kind of break down the modules, some of what we're going to be going into. But essentially, it's about giving people the space to slow down, to create some safety, to again have the meeting place of where awareness work or awakening path meets nervous system work, regulation work, attachment work, and really bringing more kindness, slowness, gentleness to that intersection. What I notice often in the quote sort of awakening world, that path, is that people often bypass a lot of their humanity. They're so busy being about, I want to wake up, that it can be a safe place to sort of hide from actually being human, feeling your emotions, meeting some of your patterning or your early trauma and how that's affecting your ability to have relationship or what you want for yourself in your life. So a lot of my work is about supporting people to kind of take that descending current back down and to integrate both the ascending current and the descending current so that we have a more fulfilling experience of actually being ourselves and being here. So there's more details in that page. And today, again, was just a taste of, what happens when we come together in a group and we really shine some light on the fact that none of us knows how long we're going to be here. I appreciated that some of you spoke to this. This is very alive in the field. And I think the more that we get clear from our heart space, not so much from a mind ego space, but from our heart, our soul space, what really matters to us, and we start to devote our attention, our time, our energy to that, the more fulfilling our lives can become, and the more that we actually can share our love, our presence with other people. So, any last anythings before we wrap up today? See your beautiful selves. I'll just say lastly, I try to make all my offerings very affordable and very low price. And even that being said, if that's ever an issue, I'm open to being creative with you and coming up with payment plans or whatever people need. If you feel called to the work, I never want to turn anyone away for lack of funds. So feel free to reach out to me after the class if you're feeling shy right now to say anything. And today, through the end of today, there's this little discount thing. If you've seen my emails, it's like a $25 off discount. So I know some of you here are actually already signed up, which is super sweet that you came today as well. And for the rest of you, I hope to see you there or in some capacity soon. Thank you all so much for just showing up with your beautiful presence. Really an honor to be with you. All right. Be well.